Well, things are just getting better and better out there on the Appalachian Trail. We've got those heroes out there, the trail maintainers. They're clearing more and more sections. It's going slow, but it is going nonetheless. So it is awesome what's going on out there. I can't wait to share that with you. And then the ATC may be up to its old shenanigans again. I want to share that with you so that you're in the know and can respond accordingly. This video, there's so much information that I just can't keep up with all of it, and what I've got to bring to you today, I may have to break this up into 2 videos, but they'll be running one day after the other if I do that. But let's go ahead and get started with what's going on out there on the trail. So the TEHCC, which is the Eastman Hiking and Canoeing Club, they are somebody who has really come and told me a lot of information. I've got some good contacts there, and so they are giving me information about where they're going. They're also posting a whole lot more on their Facebook page and stuff. And so they have cut their way almost 0.4 miles to Mountaineer Shelter. So that's Walnut Mountain Road, which was totally wiped out up there almost, and they have cut their way. Now we're talking about north of the actual Roan Mountain Highlands, north of 19E. It's kind of the Dennis Cove area. But anyway, they have cut almost all the way to Mountaineer Shelter, and what they didn't get to it, they went ahead and finished getting to it by bushwhacking and just going through with loppers, you know, lopping off limbs and stuff. They got to it, and the shelter is in great shape. There was just a little bit of damage to the roof, but not significant, not something that's going to shut that shelter down. So that was awesome to see. And the only problem is the whole area around it is totally bombed out. So it's, you know, forever changed around there, at least in our lifetimes. It'll never come back and look like it did before, but things change, and we know that. And of course the whole trail's experienced, or this section of the trail in North Carolina, Tennessee, and Southern Virginia have experienced changes like we've never seen before. But also the TEHCC is not cutting like they're cutting blue blazes down to the shelters. You can access them, but they're not cutting the blue blaze to get down the water or privies or none of that. They're just trying to get down to the shelters, and they're mainly concentrating on getting the treadway open and getting people through the white blazes. And they're also not cutting the stealth sites and the sites that are just kind of ad hoc, that are not actual sites set up by the trail maintainers and stuff in there. They just happen to be there because enough people have used them to call them a campsite. And they may even appear on far out, but they're not an official campsite. But in any case, they're not cutting those out either, just because right now they're trying to get the treadway cleared. They've also cleared from Walnut Mountain Road north to 1.3 miles south of the Moreland Gap Shelter, which is approximately 6.4 miles. So at that point, they ran into a series of very dense blowdowns, and it's the end of the day, so they called it a day. But they are going to be getting back out there and tackling that as well. Now, they've got been having some good volunteers come out, and they still need more and more volunteers to come out, but they've split up into 2 crews. And so the northern crew, they only managed to go a half mile in one day because they had to remove 34 trees. So that's pretty incredible. They are 1 mile north of the Abington Gap Shelter. So that's north of the 421 Shady Valley Trailhead. And they said that they've got 53 trees down in the next half mile. So that is going to take a substantial amount of time. But they're coming in from the Sawyers that have come in from Damascus, and those started out to be National Park Service, and now they're pro crews that are coming in. The ATC is using the resiliency fund to pay for those pro crews to come in, as well as some volunteer crews to augment those. And so these volunteer crews are coming from other trail clubs up and down the trail. So they're coming outside of the TEHCC. And so they're coming in, and they're going to meet there just as quick as they can get together. But right now, it looks like coming out of Damascus, they're only somewhere around 4 miles outside of Damascus. And then the Southern Appalachian Wilderness Stewards, aka saws, they are strictly crosscut saws and hatchets and axes. And so they do not use chainsaws. And they're starting at Wilbur Dam Road, which is just trail north of Watauga Lake, and that's actually the dam for the lake. And that's where the trail goes into the woods for just a little bit and then crosses over that road again until it goes back into woods for good. And they are starting there. and they're using their crosscut saws, and they are heading on up trail north. So obviously that takes a lot of time to use a crosscut saw. It's a slow go as you're getting in there. The reason they're using crosscut saws is this is a wilderness area, and you cannot use powered equipment in wilderness areas. So no chainsaws, no weed eaters, so to speak, none of that. So they can only use those crosscut saws, and one cut may take hours to do. So, and you can just imagine you can get through a complicated cut with a, that's where you got a bunch of trees binding on top of each other, a whole lot easier and faster with multiple chainsaws. But if you get a crosscut saw in there, it's going to take a whole lot longer. You got to worry more about binding, because it's not like you got a chainsaw to come in there and get that bound up saw out of there. So you just got to, it just takes longer with a crosscut saw. And I don't know, I guess it would take an act of Congress to get approved to use a powered equipment in a wilderness, and that's probably not going to happen, particularly right now. Crews have also broken through from the Walnut Mountain Road to the bitter end, which is at Forest Service number 293. And then I just mentioned before that the ATC indicated that National Park Service crews did saw 4 miles from Damascus outside of the Virginia-Tennessee line, and they have handed that section over to Pro Crews. Pisgah National Forest is closed still. We are going to, I'll give you some more information about a letter I wrote to them and what I got back from them here in just a minute. Did have a TEHCC trail maintainer indicate to me that he wanted me to tell the viewers out there to be situationally aware when you're picking a camping site. That's because they're not clearing those camping sites right now, but it may look like a camping site's clear, but it may be a bunch of dead man hanging up under trees. So got to be careful of something like that going through there. So just keep your head on a swivel, look up ahead before you pitch that tent. Also heard from a different trail maintainer about the 19E Elk River area up there. So the trail goes goes next to Elk River, so it's a really neat, picturesque walk through that. Some of it is in open areas, some of it's in forested areas, but it's a really neat walk. But right now it's not a neat walk because that place got inundated with water and silt from mudslides and trash. And so I'm told that there's trash 30 feet up in the trees. So that tells you how far up the water rose coming through there, and the mud and silt and everything. So that place is a wreck. It's going to have some major work, major cleaning done through it. But I am told it is passable through there. And then I also got a note from Randy, who's with Lost and Found Shuttles, and Randy indicated the same to me as well. Randy also wanted me to let you folks out there know that the trail shuttle operators and the hostels and even the towns there, they really need folks out there. They need you, the hiker community, to come in and spend money with them. He's only had like one shuttle in the past 2 months, so obviously that is not sustainable. And so all of these folks out there depend on the hiking community for their income coming in. And so right now, Randy and then I believe it's Steve with the Unicorn Shuttles, they are out helping the TEHCC. Here comes Daisy Girl. They're out helping the TEHCC, and they are doing volunteer work on it when they don't have a shuttle. And obviously those shuttles are few and far between. So guys, it's whatever you can do to go spend money and help these folks out. They need those resources. They help us out, the hiker community, because they're there and they provide that service when we need it. So it is a symbiotic relationship that we have with them. But not only that, it's a personal relationship we have with each other. We're all part of the same community, and so we need to get out there and support them. And then the Mt Rogers area, so I don't have as good a contact with the Mt Rogers Appalachian Trail Club. They don't seem to be as forthcoming. Daisy, I'm gonna have to ask you to get down, girl, but thanks a lot for making your appearance and letting people know that you are out there doing great. I don't have as good a relationship with them. I've tried to foster that relationship. The TEHCC, some of those folks watch my channel, and so I guess they do. They were okay with that, starting that relationship and me giving out the information that they provide. But Mt Rogers Appalachian Trail, not so much. So the information I've gotten through them is just stuff I found online, and I don't have a lot of time to go and harvest that. And they don't put out as much stuff online either as the TEHCC does. So they put out a ton of information. So I'd encourage you to go to their site and their Facebook page. But I do know that National Park Service crews have been in there, and they have got some huge work in front of them, and the volunteer crews that the ATC has put up room and board from the Resiliency Fund to come in there in Damascus. So what the ATC's done is they've asked volunteers from other trail clubs to come in. They're paying for their stay in Damascus. They're paying for their room wherever they're staying, so that puts money into the economy, as well as they're paying for their food so with local people, so that puts money into their economy there. So that's good use of that fund. We're going to talk a little bit more of the use in that fund here in just a minute, and some of the shenanigans that the ATC's been up to, if we get it covered in this video. But in any case, they are up there in the Southern Virginia, Mt Rogers area, sawing their way back into Damascus and through the Mt Rogers area. I do know that part of the fund has also been spent on paying ridge runners who would normally be seasonal workers, and they would not be a factor now, wouldn't be on the ATC payroll. They've been paying them to go in with those pro crews and those out of town or out of area, out of club crews, because they're helping them actually know where the trail is. So the ridge runners, you know, the trail is so bombed out in some places, you know, you don't have any white blazes anymore. And where you would have a white blaze, either the tree's down or it's hidden behind other trees. And so the ridge runners who would normally be gone, they're helping them stay on trail up there and find the treadway. So you just going to be sawing off into the woods away from the trailway. The whole purpose of them being there is to get those white blazes open. So that's one way that it's being spent up there. The ATC sawyers and the U.S. Forest Service sawyers, they've cut about 52 individual trees around the Trimpe shelter. And one thing they're doing is they are doing more clearing around the shelter sites than they are down south. So, you know, these are paid crews. I guess that's why they're doing more of that as opposed to the crews down south just trying to get the trail open. And so they've sawed, you know, down to the privy and down to the spring site and stuff like that, even a maintenance trail to get you to get maintainers to the Trimpe shelter. So personally, I'd rather just get those white blazes open right now, so we can get out and enjoy sections for us day hikers and section hikers and stuff. But in any case, that's kind of what's going on up there. I've asked some questions, but not really gotten responses. I also don't have great contacts with the Carolina Mountain Club. So every time I ask a question, I kind of get put off. And I don't mean anything disparaging about them. That's just the facts. And so I have asked them, hey, do you have a site I can go to? And they've just referred me to the National Forest site, which is useless, or they refer me to the ATC site, which is, I'm not going to say useless, but not extremely useful. Although Caitlin, the information person there, has been very helpful in answering my questions that I've sent to the ATC. So one of the things I asked them, I said, with the Carolina Mountain Club, I said, do you have a page or an information site that I could go to, a link I could go to and find out more information about what you've cut and what sections you've cleared? And their answer was, no, we do not currently gather that information. So that's kind of hard for me to believe. You're not gathering that information about what you've cut out there. So, I mean, I know the Carolina Mountain Club, they have other trails besides the ATC. So they've got the Art Loeb Trail, they've got the Mountain to the Sea Trail, so they're spread thinner, apparently, than other clubs are, and not as concentrated on the AT as other clubs are. But still, surely you're keeping track of what you're cutting out there. So either they're not quite as organized as some folks, or they're just not willing to share that with me. So I don't know which one it is. Hopefully a representative from them will contact me. I have sent out, you know, I've done my best to try to be positive about them, and I'm still being positive. I don't want to be negative about them at all, but I would like to have a little better communication. I have given their link to where people can go and contribute to them. I don't have a link for the TEHCC, but I'm sure you can go to their website and give. But if somebody's with the TEHCC out there, if you've got a link, a QR code or something, you can send me. We want to get some donations directly coming your way instead of through the ATC Resiliency Fund. And we're going to find out here in just a little bit why that's the way I feel. Hey, the video ran a little long, so I'm going to jump ahead to the end part and going to skip around the part where I came back and recap my conversation with the ATC. But don't worry about it. I'll be putting out a video here probably within the week about that, and it's some really interesting stuff that I think you're going to be interested and maybe have some issues with. I know I did. They also sent in an email to Pisgah National Forest and asked them, basically in a nutshell, why the heck can't y'all be open when all the other national forests are open around you? And they got the same pat answer that I guess they just rubber stamp and send to everybody. They had a lot of damage. We had a lot of damage. We lost hundreds of thousands of acres that got damaged, yada, yada, yada. I get that. I understand that. That's still not telling me why everybody else is open right next door to you, right in the same damage area, and why you, Pisgah National Forest, are closed, preventing trail maintainers from getting in there, preventing volunteer assessment crews from getting in there, requiring paid assessment crews to get in there. And then they sent me, he said, the rest of what you've got that you asked me can be found at this website. And he gave me a link. Of course, that's not helpful. I get a 404 error. So that link goes nowhere. So thanks a lot, Pisgah National Forest person. I can't remember his name, and no point in calling him out either. But in any case, all that is, I don't know, just kind of a little on the disturbing side for me. On a more positive note, and everything is positive going on out, well, not everything, but 90% of stuff is positive, particularly going on from the trail clubs out there who are busting it to get it done. And hats off to TEHCC for being forthcoming, and they're making it happen out there. And I can say that because they're providing the information to let me know they're making it happen. So thumbs up for you, TEHCC. And then on a different note, the Hiker Yearbook, this is the first year they have been on their own. So before this, the Hiker Yearbook was, started by Odie, who's, everybody knows who Odie is, a trail angel on the AT. And so he turned that over to the AT Museum, which is completely separate from the ATC. And so it's a complete different organization. So AT Museum is doing that now. And last year Odie helped them, but this year Odie's no longer helping them. He's given everything to them now. And so they needed help in getting the word out and asked me to do that. And I'm more than happy to do that. That they need the class of 2024 to send in your pictures and your information. And if you'll go to this form, this link down below, then you can go and fill out that form, send in your picture so that you can be part of the 2024 Hiker Yearbook. So go and do that. I think that is a great cause. And you folks from 2024 that share this with other hikers that you know that don't watch this channel, that may not be linked up right now into the hiker community, share that with him because we want everybody to be included in that Hiker Yearbook. The Backcountry Cavalry, so I got notice that the Backcountry Cavalry is putting together a work day there in Hot Springs. And so if you'll go to Backcountry Cavalry, send them an email, backcountrycavalry@gmail.com, and put in the subject line Hot Springs, North Carolina, then they'll send you further details about how you could get involved with that. And then also I failed to mention earlier when I was talking about Carolina Mountain Club, they're also having a work day on November 30th, I believe, and that's up in Hot Springs as well. Here is a link. The link to that is down below, and here's a picture of that where you can go to their website and find out all the information that you need to be a part of that. 2025 hikers, class of, I have not forgotten about you at all. There's just been so much going on the trail right now. But next week, I'm getting back to you, going to start featuring more of you guys. So send me in your videos, send me in your information, send me in whatever you got, whatever you want included in these updates. And so we'll be doing that more next week and moving forward. Don't forget to go to our support list if you have social media, or even if you don't, go and sign up. That link's down below so that people can go out there and find your social media. And if you don't find if you don't have social media, that's fine. But I still want you to update me each week throughout your hike so that I can tell the hiker community and people can follow along with you. A lot of thru hikers come to my channel to, while they're out there on the trail, to find out what's going on with other people they've met. So somebody we're out there will be following along with your hike, and so we want to get your updates so we can let folks know where you are out there. So still go and join that, particularly if you're social media, so the rest of the hiking community can support you through your social media and they know how to find you on that. We're almost up to 100 folks on there now, so looking forward to getting more and more people on that. And the link to that to sign yourself up is down below, as well as the link for people, the hiker community, to go and find that list. That's down below. The end of the day's hike is still on right now. The whole 72 plus miles are not open right now. They've only got about 33 miles open. We're still on, so we'll either do a shorter hike, or I had a suggestion come in from, I believe it was from 2025 through hiker Luscious, and he made a great suggestion. Why don't we do a yo-yo? So go out 33 miles and then come back. So that is a great idea. That would prevent us from having to do shuttles and stuff. So I need to get with Fresh Ground and see how he feels about supporting folks on a yo-yo. And if he doesn't, we may wind up doing that. Probably going to get a little closer to the end, to probably the mid-December, to see if they're going to be open the whole way or not. But in any case, I'll let you know about that. But great idea, Luscious, and appreciate you sending that idea in. And then head on over to these videos here to see how the trail was and how well the trail maintainers are doing now versus how it was when we first had that Hurricane Hellene came through and bombed it out. Folks, that's all I've got. As always, appreciate you, and we'll see you out here.